Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to listen to people pop bubble wrap. Hi, help. Hey everybody, how's it going? So I am very close to renting that new space, and one of the things that I was asked by the managing agent of the building is if they could speak to my contractor, because they're going to be providing us with an HVAC unit, some sort of the thing that makes the cold. We have to supply our own ducting and all that, and our own thermostat and all that, but the big part they're going to be providing. So one of the questions they had is, can we speak to your architect regarding this? Because, not architect, can we speak to your contractor? So I decided to go out there and go for, speak to a couple of real contractors. I was not going to hire the contractor until I got the lease, but I need to have a contractor in order to speak with them regarding the AC unit, because they are going to be giving me a certain amount of the AC unit they're going to be providing for free. Now, the thing that gets kind of tricky here is that I don't have a contractor because I don't have a lease. In order to have a contractor, when I called several contractors, they said you need an architect in New York City, to file Department of Buildings permits and all that, and also to give them the plans as to what to do. And to get an architect, well, I was kind of weird, felt weird signing off on an architect before I actually have a lease. So I reached out to an architect that was actually, polite, kind, understanding of my whole situation, and said, I'll pay you on a piecemeal basis. Can you just kind of work out this AC thing with an HVAC contractor or whatever with the managing agent of the property so that I could get a lease signed? And they said, sure. And, seemed like a nice enough guy. Went through his portfolio. He was recommended to me by two different people. So I thought, you were recommended to me by two different people. Maybe I'll go with you. So he just sent me a proposal today for the entire services of doing the, putting together the plans as to how the new store should be constructed and dealing with the contractors. So I wanted to read this contract to all of you. And what I'm really looking to get here is something better than what I had the first time that I built a store. So as I told you all, when I built this first store, I was strapped for cash. I was at the point at the end of it where I could, as I mentioned in this old video that I'll link to here in the edited version, where I was using a patio door, the side of the house door, for those, because I didn't have the money to get a proper store door. And I'm happy with what I did, because I was able to build the store into a place that had 13 employees, that's taught hundreds of thousands of people in the business how to do board repair, and I'm happy with that. But the reality is that the initial construction, I will let Paul demonstrate for you what the original construction was like.
He's alive.
Needless to say, I would not like a repeat of this, and while I am eternally grateful to the individuals that put a lot of time and effort into helping me build this place, I'd like it to be done properly this time, since there's a bit more of a budget now than there was when I was first moving out and had one employee for the repair company. So I thought that I would read over this, and let's see what we got here. And I want your thoughts on this proposal because I've included you in so much of this process. You've been included in the selection of a space, in the selection of a broker, in dealing with a broker, and the decisions that I make. And I've enjoyed all of your input up until now. It's been very interesting to read. 90% of the comments that I've gotten. 10% not so much, but 90% of it has been very interesting and educational to read. So let's go over to this. So it says Louis Rossman, owner, Rossman Repair Group, spelled with one N. If it's cheap enough, who cares? 126 West 30th Street. Okay, you got so far, the first thing I notice is you have gotten the name of the company and the address wrong on page 1, but whatever. And the zip code. The zip code of my current business, the name of my current business, and the address, all in one. But again, if you do a good job, I won't care. Dear Louis, thank you for the opportunity to present our proposal for architectural and interior design services for the new location of Rossman Repair Group. It would be a pleasure to assist you during this new phase of growth and success for your company. This is a very exciting project requiring a strong design vision, clear process, and attention to detail. I believe our office is well suited to partner with you and make this project a success. 1. Project understanding. This agreement is between Architecture LLP, architect, I censored out the name, and Rossman Repair Group Inc., owner. The proposed project is the renovation of the existing retail space at 124 West 30th Street, New York project site. The existing space is approximately 1,975 square feet on the ground floor, and it is assumed the cellar is approximately equal in size. We'll work with the owner to develop a design concept for the space, develop the design, and create documents suitable for construction and filing with the New York City Department of Buildings. During the construction phase, we'll provide construction administration services. Basic services. 2. Basic services for this project will include the following phases. 1. Schematic design. 2. Design development. 3. Construction documents. 4. Bidding and negotiations. 5. Project filing. 6. Construction administration. Services provided for the above phases include 1. Schematic design. Upon owner's authorization to proceed, architect will provide the following services. A. Field measure existing conditions at the project site. B. Create existing conditions drawings. C. Meet with owner at current business location to review existing front of house, back of house conditions and discuss overall design objectives. D. Prepare space plan options. E. Prepare an overall interior design concept for the space. F. Prepare concept design for new storefront. G. Meet with owner to review. H. Make revisions based on owner feedback. I. Submit schematic design package for owner review and approval. 2. Design development. Upon owner's approval of the schematic design package, architect will provide the following services. A. Development of owner-approved schematic design, including 1. Floor plan. 2. Ceiling plan. 3. Interior elevations. 4. Exterior elevation. 5. Millwork. B. Select finished materials for the project. C. Coordinate with MEP engineer. D. Coordinate with lighting designer if required. E. Meet with owner to review design progress. F. Make revisions based on owner feedback. G. Submit design development package for owner review and approval. 3. Construction documents. Upon owner's approval of design development package, architect will provide the following services. A. Prepare construction documents set suitable for bidding, filing, and construction, including 1. Construction document level development of design development package. 2. Specialty millwork detailing. 3. Storefront entry detailing. 4. Project schedules. 5. Project specifications. B. Coordinate with MEP engineer. C. Coordinate with lighting designer if required. D. Review for compliance with the New York City Energy Conservation Code. E. Submission of construction documents package for owner review and approval. 4. Bidding negotiations. Upon owner approval of construction documents package, architect will provide the following services. A. Create and distribute an invitation to bid to selected contractors if required. B. Attend an on-site review of project with prospective bidders or selected contractor. C. Respond to requests for information. D. Review and/or level contractor bids. 5. Project filing. Upon selection of general contractor, architect will provide the following services. A. Submit construction documents to building architect or engineer for review if required. B. Respond to building architect or engineer comments if required. C. Coordinate with New York City Department of Buildings expediter. D. Submit construction documents to Department of Buildings for application for construction permit. E. Revise construction documents to respond to Department of Building objections as required to achieve required approvals. 6. Construction administration. Upon start of general contractor work, architect will provide the following services. A. Review and respond to contractor construction submittals and requests for information. B. Attend a maximum of 12 weekly site visits to review construction progress. Additional site visits can be provided as an additional service. C. Review contractor requests for payment. D. Create one punch list review at general contractor's notice of substantial completion. E. Create one punch list review at general contractor's notice of final completion. 3. Project schedule. Architect will work with the owner to establish a project schedule at the initiation of the project. Project schedule notes. A. New York City Departments of Building filing and approval is anticipated to take approximately 6 to 8 weeks. That was pretty much the amount of time it took to put together the store that I have now. Just filing. B. Professional certification filing can be provided as an additional service, and will reduce the New York City Department of Building filing period to 1 to 2 weeks. C. Construction duration is assumed to be 12 weeks for the purposes of this proposal. 4. Assumptions and exclusions. Attendance at any required meetings, hearings, or reporting involving regulatory agencies or ordinances will be provided on an hourly basis as an additional service. There are sufficient utility services available for the proposed scope of work. The landlord will provide an HVAC system suitable for the space. There are no environmental or regulatory issues which would prevent planned renovation or construction work as described in this proposal. The cellar level will primarily be used for storage and will not require extensive design work. Makes sense. The basement itself is... I don't care if it looks too nice. The project work is limited to the interior of the existing structure with the exception of the exterior storefront glazing and entry system. The area of work is limited to the demised lease space provided to the owner by the landlord. Exclusions. The following are currently excluded from the project and can be provided as an additional service. Department of Building Expedited Services, Structural Engineering Services, MEP Engineering Services, Specialty Lighting Design, Professional Certification Filing for Application for Permit, Invasive Investigation or Testing of Existing Conditions and Equipment, Environmental Investigation, Testing or Remediation, Special Inspection Services, Acoustical Consulting, FF&E Specification or Procurement, IT Room AV Server Room Cabling Design, Commission, Filing Fees, Lead Certification or Lead-like Services, High-end 3D renderings, and preparation of as-built drawings. So this is all the stuff that's not included in the price quote we'll be getting. Fees for basic services. Architect will provide basic services identified above as a fixed fee. Fees for each phase will be billed monthly on the basis of percentage completion. And drum roll, please. Schematic design, fixed fee $6,750. Design development, fixed fee $8,850. Construction documents, fixed fee $14,700. Bidding and negotiations, fixed fee $10,050. Project filing $1,200. Construction administration $5,700. Architectural fee total $38,250. Thoughts, Paul?
All we're doing is renovating a space. This is insane. This is just for all we're doing is renovating a space. We're not constructing something here. We're not building a building. We're not leveling anything.
We're doing a floor.
There's no heavy construction. There's not going to be a bulldozer rolling down the street to get to this. We're only renovating a space. We're putting up drywall and electrical. That's it. Maybe a little bit of plumbing because we have 2 tiny bathrooms. We're not changing the plumbing. We're just adding fixtures, adding a new toilet, a new sink, adding drywall, some outlets. That's it. We're renovating, not building.
Well, the thing is, you need to have an architect in the city, to my knowledge, in order to file for all the permits if you would like to do everything in a permitted fashion. Yeah. Let's see what we have here in the comments. I was not able to read the comments while I was reading the contract. So, go over some of this. What's millwork? I think millwork is working with wood. Where's coordinate with structural engineer if necessary? Filing in New York City can take a long time. Yeah, that's the other thing, that he's doing the filing, but if I want him to work with the expediter, so it takes 1 or 2 weeks to get the permits rather than 8 weeks or more, that's an additional fee on top of the $38,000. Additional. Yeah, so for him to work to get for him to deal with the expediter so that we don't wait 8 weeks before we can get started is an additional fee over the $38,250. Doesn't look personalized. It was a little personalized. The fact that the landlord is providing an HVAC unit was included in there.
Yes. But I still think we got canned response and just the edited canned response.
Let's see. Congrats on getting better internet, though. Why, thank you, Kopaz. Lots of people... Okay, MB is Frenchy said, lots of people like to waste architects' time just to go elsewhere based on price, not quality. What are your thoughts, Paul? Have we wasted this architect's time?
I think he wasted his own time by quoting so high. This seems insane. I understand. You got to go to the city and file permits and everything.
For reference, father is an architect that deals in commercial and residentials with REITs. 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 REIT? This is just a standard off-the-shelf proposal. This is not the construction contract, Arvid, for the individual who asked. This is not... Because the way this works is if I want to deal with a quote to the $38,250, Arvid gave 20 knocks. God bless you, Arvid. We've got half of it covered now. No, but the... if you want... Again, there's a difference here because behind door number 1, you have Guy Who Knows a Guy Construction Corp. Inc., which is this. If you want to deal with a proper contractor and do everything properly, you need to file. The contractors will not speak to you unless you have an architect. Once you have an architect, then the real general contractors will speak to you. So you have to go to an architect first. So this is not what it would cost to do the construction. This is what it would cost for the individual who's going to do the design work and then tell the contractors what to do. So again, this does not include costs of. What is your general overall plan here? So we were going to redo the floors, we were going to replace the ceiling tiles, we were going to redo the walls, redo the storefront, and the electrical.
The only thing that I would consider construction in any of this is the storefront. That's the only thing, and if we redo the wall between the two spaces. But still, that's only cosmetic, because nothing is load-bearing. The space is just a wide open space. The beams are on either side of it. Nothing's load bearing in any of those walls. It's all cosmetic stuff.
Hi, Lewis. It's only 5:20. I won't call you Linus this time. You should add Google Play as tip method. Thinking of getting into repair. How should I practice? Practice on boards that you buy cheaply. So like buy a machine that has an 820-2530 in it or something, or an Air from 2012 cheaply. The thing is, you don't have to buy the newest stuff to become good, but you just want to buy something that's somewhat relevant to how electronics are made nowadays, and you want to get something that's not going to break the bank while giving you a skill set. Okay. Is this construction? Okay, what else do we have here? Someone's going to building department. They make you wait hours as they are understaffed and busy. Wow. A governmental agency in New York City, understaffed and busy.
No.
Imagine
No
my
way.
surprise.
The thought of it.
All right. You should add expediting assistance unless you don't care about your permits getting delayed. Special inspections are BS extra crap to make more money in New York City. Paul, is he making you feel better? I don't have a plush toy. I need a plush toy to help me feel after reading this bill. MB is Frenchie said, Lewis, I warned you. I'm not sure what you warned me of. You should. By experience, the exclusions is where they screw you over with added expenses. I don't know. I think that dealing with an expediter, if you're giving out a quote for about $38,000 for a remodel, again, this is not construction. This is the person who's doing the design and dealing with the contractors who are doing the work for the remodel. I think that dealing with the expediter should be in there for $38,000. Am I being greedy, or is that like... If that's a mistake, you're supposed to breathe in a McDonald's bag. Solder Bridge says, tell them GTFO. Thank you, Des Rossi.
Oh, really?
We are 1/38,000th our way
Pro
to having an architect.
Oh, well, I want to go see this. That's more interesting.
If you leave, Paul, you're going to be the chief of surface repair.
What?
The chief engineer of surface repair. No, go for it. Go for it. Have fun. You'd have to fix them anyway. All right. All right, back to this. Welcome to the real world. Yes. Oh, what the fuck's wrong with my white balance? Damn this camera. It's been messing with me this whole fucking time. I would get multiple bids for architects. Seems high. Well, a little bit. This fee should be 10% of construction cost. Yeah. Stephen Brader says, fuck that. You know, that's part of my initial reaction, but I don't know a lot about costs for architects or general construction in New York City. And 38,000 and they haven't hammered a single nail. It is design. It is, they are telling the construction person, like, where to put things, doing the design, color. Red tape, and more red tape, says Hannah Anderson. Also, they should list the hourly rate if it's 200 to 225. This is normal pricing. Architect is necessary no matter what in New York City. Hi. Will you be my architect? Come here, Art Vandelay.
Art Vandelay.
Can we hire Art Vandelay for this?
George Costanza?
Can a general contractor file permits?
Anybody can file permits.
You accidentally got the platinum level architect. You need to go down to the brass tacks level. LOL. Yeah. Because that's the thing that I was telling Hi. Essentially, there's this, again, there's this level of contractor. And then there's $38,000 just for the drawings and the design. And I think we're looking for something that's a little bit in the middle. So, it can't be too proper, because if it's too proper, as in the immortal words of John Grossbard, if I made this place any nicer, you couldn't afford it, my first landlord. We don't want it to be too nice and too proper, because if we obey every single regulation and do everything perfectly right, you're not going to afford that unless you're a Chase Bank or a Whole Foods, which is why, by the way, New York City is nothing but Chase Bank and Whole Foods and Starbucks nowadays. This is BS unless they're going to do all the design and permits and final year contractors. I'm comparing to Chicago, which also isn't cheap. Well, that's the thing. I think in here it says that he would do the finding of all the contractors. I think what I need to do is I need to figure out what's the word I'm looking for? Which corners you're allowed to cut and are okay to cut, and which corners you're cutting are kind of like what Boeing did with their airplanes. Like you want to cut the right corners so that you don't wind up, paying $250 million to have a website put together or something. But at the same time, not cutting corners to where you're losing safety and breaking the law. They said high-quality 3D renderings. Ask for a deal on low-quality 3D renderings. Let's see. Don't forget to put a bidet in the middle of the doorway. New Yorkers expect that now. But maybe find an honest architect with a YouTube channel. Seems not very personalized and like you're another number. Only last couple of paragraphs personalized. So much red tape. Don't renovate and apologize later. That will get you red tagged and shut down. They will make you reopen the walls and anything else you did to make sure it was correct. Poorly edited canned response. Expediter can screw you good. Father is an architect in New York that deals with commercial and residential. He does mainly work with REITs. Thank you to Jerry72. Do you honestly like the new space, though? I do. I think it needs construction, and I'm prepared to pay for the construction. To a point. Let's see. You have not wasted anyone's time. It's your money. Indeed. I just went in and I asked for my free estimate. We offer free estimates. New York City is a very difficult building department. I imagine so. It's a big enough bill that it makes sense to get 3 bids now. Yeah, I'm feeling that. Have Paul be the contractor and a new series can be created. Yeah, I'd love to. Paul, you're an architect. What's your name, Paul?
Art Vandelay.
What's your last name? Paul Vandelay?
Vandelay. Paul Vandelay.
Does the license pass?
Vandelay Industries. You might get a Jerry Seinfeld in the phone number.
It's not 8 weeks. It's 8 weeks for an answer. Oh, my God. Yes, it takes 8 weeks to get an answer from them once you file the permits. So
I would answer for what?
So I'd be paying...
Whether or not we can do it?
So I'd be paying $12,833 a month in rent while I'm waiting. So it's not just the permit would cost the filing cost. It would also cost $24,000 before I get a response back because you're paying monthly rent on the space. Is anybody surprised that most of New York City is empty at this point? Like when you walk around and you see all these retail spaces and you see that there's nothing available, does this surprise you at all? Does the fact that New York City is nothing but Chase, Starbucks, Whole
Vacant
Foods,
space.
Chase,
Vacant
Starbucks,
space.
Whole Foods,
Vacant
Chase,
space.
Starbucks, Whole Foods.
Vacant space.
Like, this makes sense now. If they do all that and they're going to be general contractor for the job, that is reasonable. No, that's not general contractor. That's the person who tells the general contractor what to do. This is not including parts. This is not including labor. This is the architect. They're going to file the permits, and then they're going to do the design, and then once they do that, they're going to tell the general contractor, now you build it.
So we have a new opening here at Rossman Repair Group. We're hiring a architectural student that's about to graduate.
That happens to have a license in the city. Guy who knows a guy sounds like higher quality work. I don't know what to tell you. You may need an engineer depending on whether those walls that need to be removed are load bearing. Thank you very much to Ellis for the $1 Canadian. Paul, are those walls load bearing from your inspection?
No, nothing is.
You're sure?
Yes.
No load bearing. All right. Some contractors have an architect in-house. You set in a contractor. Nope, not at all. I am not married to any individual contractor. The contractor would work with you, but if removing the ramp and walls, then that would be where they would get concerned.
The walls are only cosmetic pieces. They don't even go to the ceiling.
You can't do basic renovation without a permit. Changing the carpet costs $38,000 in fees. Haha. You guys need to understand hourly rate is usually $175 to $225 for commercial architects, says MBS Frenchie. Do it live, says crowdfund is part of it. Don't you hate it when you wake up like this? Initiating program. Wake up, Lewis. Meow, 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 meow. He usually starts licking my eyeballs too, like it's kind of implying that if I don't give him a greenie, he will assume that my eyeball is a greenie. Well, part of this. What was I just reading? Yeah, in terms of crowdfunding, I would not want to crowdfund something that is. Here's the thing. Let's say I were to actually do a crowdfunding for this type of project. I'm not opposed to it. I'm still on the fence as to whether or not I'm going to do that, like 50-50. But the thing is, I would not want crowdfunding to cover rent seeking. So I don't mind, nor would I even want to pay out of my pocket if it was simply rent seeking. And I don't have enough information yet on this whole industry to kind of understand if this is, like, am I paying the guy that should be the guy that does Macy's to do my store and I'm going overboard? Or is this standard? Or is this too much even if I was a Macy's? You know, I don't know yet. So I'm still in my researching phase. But I don't want to pay. I would not want to ask somebody else to pay for something that's going to wind up being super inflated. I would want to negotiate that down to something that makes sense. But again, I don't even know enough to know if this makes sense yet. Paul appears to be leaning towards the fact that this does not make sense. Thoughts, Paul?
I don't think it's worth that much money. That's an entire employee for an entire year.
This all seems just overkill to renovate a store and you're not building anything, says John Sparazik.
Seriously, that's my take on it.
Anthony Sain says, just think of how the pockets of the architect in New York State are getting rich on small businesses. K Dignity says, Paul looks like he is imagining a to-the-death battle in his head with an architect. Do you have your rifle?
This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My rifle is my friend. It is my life. I must master it as I must master my life.
You must master architecture as you would master your life. If this was for more than phone calls and paperwork, then fine, but he has extra fees for any real work. You're doing primarily a square or rectangular space, should not require a large firm. Can't you do cosmetics without having to hire someone? Good question. Building inspectors were also being crooked. To be fair, says MBS Frenchie. Doesn't Alan know a good architect for this type of job? You know what? I'll ask him. Jared says 38K is way too much. Sigurd van de Wiel says, in your spreadsheet of costs, you did budget $40,000 for unexpected costs. When I created my spreadsheet of all the costs down below, I did actually put $40,000 unexpected cost, and that actually covers architect. But I don't want my entire unexpected cost budget to eat up to be architect.
Yeah.
I know I'm probably being cheap here. I was kind of expecting it to be in that 10K range.
Yeah.
Interior design, tell contractor, put this here, put that there, leave.
Yeah.
Am I asking you to do data recovery on a phone that's been in salt water for $49, or is that reasonable? Because I don't want to do the construction version of saying, my phone was in salt water. It's probably just a few components. It's just recover it for $50, bro. We're friends, right?
Well, I
Can
say
of
we
beer?
get a couple more quotes and see if this actually pans out the
Just
same.
curious as to whether or not there'll be more Paul's Corner or Steve data recovery videos. Honestly, not until I finish this whole setup. Like, Steve is slammed with work. We can't fit another technician in to do data recovery that Steve does because of no space. And Paul's also slammed at the moment as well. So that's probably going to wait until we move. Although I do plan on doing more. It's just... Architects are ridiculously expensive for what you actually need to do, says Rick. Outsource it to someone on Upwork. This is not a WordPress website.
Just design it in Microsoft Paint. Great idea.
I have an arc designer. I can make him design it for you without fees. Free is, again, that's moving a little too more towards a guy that knows a guy Construction Inc. I would say there is some liability there on the architect of the building goes, they get the blame. Fair. A good contractor will tell you need an architect. Will tell you if you need an architect. Good point. If the architect makes the complete design and contractor only needs to see according to the schematic, that would save on contractor's bill. Yes, but would it save $30,000 to $40,000 on contractor's bill? There's a lot you don't see. Pulling old drawings from New York City and measuring against new. Point taken. I hope the contractors don't cost as much as the architect. $38,000 is simply ridiculous for what you need, someone says. Expediter can make or break you. Jared Jackowitz says, which things you can save for later? Do like everyone else. Just show up at the Home Depot at 6 a.m. with a pickup and tell the group there how many expert builders you need that day. No, that's the thing. A lot of people thought that I was being insulting when I made the mention of Home Depot people in a Home Depot parking lot. And I just want to clarify. I've used those individuals, and they are great. Again, sometimes they do amazing work. On some days, you get the best of the best. Other days, you get this. And I am, looking to avoid that with this run through. Let's see. Okay to cut corners for walls. Okay, plumbing and electrical don't cut corners, says RJ76. Whoever it is, they should be good since the prints are what the contractor is using. If the contractors get effed because of the prints, you need to make sure the liability is transferred to them and they'll pay for the wasted labor, says Jason for 1999. This is why most places don't replace things. Lewis tried dating someone from City Hall. Interesting. Okay. If you call Paul cute, he will surely smile, says Nathan Levang for $2. Something tells me that's not the way to make a Marine smile. Just have like another man in the office call him cute. But it worked! You're smiling! Oh my god, that worked! I can't believe it. Okay, we're up. I would rather you have a merch store instead of crowdfunding. I'd have to win Lotto at this rate.
What made me smile was the thought of bashing somebody's head in.
Marine. You lose a lot of money with contractors. You can lose a ton of money with contractors. That's where the architect earns his keep. So the whole idea is the architect is supposed to keep you from losing money, Paul. What are your thoughts on that? Because if the contractor overbooks you or does something he's not supposed to, the architect is what keeps you from losing money with the contractor.
He would know the good contractors to hire, so that might help.
The 38,000 is not even what gives me sticker shock so much as like Expediter not in there, this not in there, that not in there. I'm not. I wouldn't be breathing into the bag as much with that quote if there wasn't so much that was excluded. Like I understand saying, we're charging you 300 to fix your board. We can't cover if your screen's bad. But at 38,000, it's like, come on. But maybe I'm being unreasonable. So all in all, it would hurt to look further for some space where airco is already installed and stuff. I mean, the end you spend $500,000 just to move into bigger space. Just let the contractor file the permits of the general contractor. Let's see. Some building departments break balls in order to drive up fees, especially small towns and villages that are landmark areas. Lewis put it on Fiverr. This is not encouraging business growth and tax revenue, says Daylighter. Yeah.
You know what's worth it?
MBS Frenchie says architect's insurance is a couple of $1,000s a month for a small firm.
I can imagine.
That's the thing. All of this stuff is what's going to make costs skyrocket. And it's going to get to a point where you just have to start from scratch or else you're going to have an empty city.
Like you remember after 9/11, they wanted to blame the architect of the building. They tried to put all the deaths, all the destruction, everything on the architect of the building, saying that you didn't design it correctly.
Not sure if you got my message from last stream yesterday, but in case you did, I typed CPU instead of GPU. Hope you had a great weekend. I genuinely appreciate the $5. Unfortunately, if we were having a conversation in a stream, I've entirely forgotten it by then. So the difference between CPU, GPU, NAD, unfortunately, it's completely past at this point. I'm sorry. But if you've underestimated the architect fees by so much, just think about how much you may have underestimated the other costs. What do you think of that comment, Paul? From Elaine Allenson.
I guess it's just the cost of doing business in New York City. This shit doesn't fly in New Jersey.
Lewis, the way to make a Marine smile is crayon, says Mr. Tibercon for $2.
I was a Marine before the whole crayon eating shit. We ate glue.
I don't understand that. I think a general contractor will be better or cheaper than hiring an architect. Why do you need an architect really, says Doug Jones. That was my first thought, says Michael Hutton. Canned response and could not even bother to hit spell check how much attention is to details this guy going to use. Yeah, he lists the address of the store differently 2 different times. He lists my store address with the improper zip code, and then he misspells the name of the my name or the name of the business.
It's because he forgot to make this 2 days ago, and you reminded him today, and he rushed and threw it together.
Yeah, that's one thing that I forgot to mention. So he said, I'll get you the proposal by Friday. It's almost the end of the day Friday, and I hadn't heard back, so I messaged him. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get it together. And then he sent it to me now. And again, this is one of those things I was telling Paul earlier, which is I think that this is something where how these conversations go is going to be indicative of how everything else is. Now, when it comes to the landlord, I don't really have much say there. There's a limited number of buildings, and when people say, if a landlord is doing this in negotiations for renting, imagine what it's going to be like when you have problems. The thing is, every landlord I've ever dealt with in New York has been an absolute nightmare and miserable. I expect it. But when it comes to contractors, there's so many of them available that I want to get signs early on that you're going to drive me crazy. And one of the things that makes it a little bit harder for me, and again, this is why I waited until I saw the bill to really dig into it, is if you misspell the name of the business, the address of the new store, and the address of the current store, you get those 3 things wrong on page 1. That's the kind of thing where if you're a $6,000 or $10,000 architect, I forgive you. At $38,000 quote for the whole project, not so much. And it seems, and that combined with this whole, I said I was going to get it to you by this date, but I'm only going to get it to you once you bother to remind me, and then I'm going to do it last minute thing, is what makes me less excited to hire that type of individual versus another. Some help to give Paul a rise. All the best from Madeira Island. Dude, that £4 is not going to Paul. That £4 is going to the architect. Let's see. If you're not going to alter any load-bearing structure, you should only need some electrical and ventilation. If you pay this amount and they file for you and it passes in 1 to 2 weeks, how much does that save versus 6 to 8 weeks? Well, that would save a lot of money. The thing is that in the $38,250 that's specified here, that does not include an expediter, nor does that include the 1 to 2 week time frame for filing. That's on top, and it doesn't list what that fee is. So if I want to expedite it, it doesn't actually say what that fee is. That's not included in the $38,250. Why not contact the college and see if they have anyone with a master's course for a fee, some real-world experience, or see if any architect's company have someone lower totem pole for cheaper price. Was Droger donated €2? Thank you very much for the €2. Steve says I had a house fire at a 2-family in Queens. The contractor was forced to get an architect to do plans. Was no need, but it cost a lot. You have my sympathy, says Steve Schlackham. Some architects charge by percentage of construction costs. Architect gets nailed for contractor's mistakes. Contractor, when something goes wrong, blames architect. Too pretty will scare off customers. What do you think of the concept that if the store looks too good, customers won't want to come into it?
I think that's not true for the Midtown crowd.
Don't delay Fun Lewis new store today. Thank you for the 500 Ys.
I think that's true for the East Village crowd. I don't think that's true for the Midtown crowd.
Yeah, East Village is more kind of used to it being grungy. One sec. Ichisu. Thanks for the great videos. Please do a time lapse of the new store refurbished. That will be great. All the best from the UK. It's a simple interior redesign. The architect is the cost. Get a New Jersey architect to make drawings. But wouldn't he have to know how to file it in New York City and state, though?
He has to be licensed in New York, I would guess.
I'll send you an email, Lewis. I have an idea. I will check your email, Catherine, as soon as I'm done with this. Skip this guy, says Car Ramrod. Thank you, Waz Droger, for the €1. I have to stop getting the euros and pounds wrong and pisses off the Brexit people. I don't know if you missed it, but did you sign the lease? Not yet. That's still going back and forth between managing agent and lawyer. Maybe you just contacted the Karen of architects. The more questions a contractor asks, the better. Was this architect chosen by the contractor or you? This architect was chosen by the contractor. So the two contractors that I had called both recommended this one architect and said, you know, speak to him and then we can do business afterwards. How about crowdfunding the 1 million party venue fee? Depending on his usual clientele, he may be highballing you because he doesn't think your remodel will be worth the money. Do you think that's what it is? It's that he's purposely giving this fee because he thinks that I'm going to be a waste of his time, so he just doesn't want to take the job?
Either that, or he thinks that we are a lot bigger than what we actually are, and he's just trying to do a cash grab.
He thinks on YouTube that I'm getting paid per subscriber. Like, oh, look, he has 980,000 subscribers. He's getting $1 from them every year. This is going to be easy.
Yeah.
Like, he's not aware that it's like 75 to 83% ad block and that YouTube pays shit. For most. Don't you mean you became a Marine because of that crap, says Richard Irwin, I think alluding to the crayons.
Say that again?
Somebody said, don't you mean you became a Marine because of that crap? I think he's referring to the crayons.
There was no crayon eating shit when I was active. I don't know where that came from. We ate glue like real Marines.
Seems like Alan could be instrumental in finding an architect. Since this guy got stuff wrong on the first page, I would run away screaming. You know what, Douglas Jones? I think so. Lazy Robot said, how is Anel? Anel actually just got home from the hospital. I hooked him up with an attorney, I believe 2 days ago. He had some good conversations with an attorney. That's going well. He's gotten himself to the point where he can walk to some extent. It's still painful for him, but he's home. He's walking, and I'm not going to ask him to come back until he's fully recovered. No, we're just going to balance the workload of fixing boards until he's able to come back. Thank you very much to Lazy Robot. Yeah, the one comment that I think was really... Douglas Jones, I think, hit the nail on the head when he said, since this guy got stuff wrong on the first page, I would run away screaming. Because think about what an architect does, Paul. The whole point of this, the pound is the 1 line and the euro is the 2 line thingy. Thank you, G. Fletcher, for the 2 pounds. The whole point of an architect is attention to detail. That's literally your job. I mean, whether you're remodeling or you're putting together a building, you're going to be making all these drawings and and trying your best to make the perfect sense. An inch here, this there, this color here, this angle there. How is it going to look when it comes into a customer? And I don't know. There's only so many things you're allowed to get wrong on the first page, and getting the location of the old store, the location of the new store, and the name of the company all wrong. You can't do that at 38,000. You can do that at 10, maybe even 20. I think you can't do it at 38,000. I think, yeah. Keep looking. Hope it gets sorted out and your back is better. Thank you, Mort, for the 10 runs. Douglas Jones says, oh, the contractor recommended the architect? That's like dealing with the chick that worked for the landlord. Run away. I'm leaning towards run away.
I mean, leave it on the back burner, but let's contact more people.
Blair said it'd be best to offer that contractor's offer would also include being featured on your 1 million subscriber YouTube channel, like how Alan unintentionally benefited. Donation for my first time watching the live stream. Thank you, Welsh videos. The Welsh ones. So, do you think I should reply, like, cross out the numbers and say $6,000 plus exposure equals 38,000?
No.
Exposure?
No, don't try to leverage
exposure?
This or anything like that.
That's what they do in the music business. I got offered exposure many times, and I wasn't even a musician.
I think that's tacky.
That's a piece of shit thing to do. That would make me Vice. I'm not going to be Vice. I'm not trying to be Vice.
No, I think if anything, leave it on the back burner. Like, practically, maybe say something, but practically ghost him and see if he's really interested, if he needs the work, or if he wants to work with us, then he's going to come back with a lower number, just like all the other spaces did.
My roommate was T-boned and not at fault. It took roughly 16 to 18 months to get paid for all damages. Hoping no knows. I'm sure they're informing him of that. Thank you for the $4.99 to Jason Christoph.
RGB.
People are complaining that you're not a cute
RGB.
girl because they're tired of looking at you. Can you become a cute girl? Can you identify as a cute girl?
No.
Do you want to show them this bit?
No, that shit don't work, no.
Do you want to show them this?
Ask if you can get a discount if you provide the architect with the Bosch tool. What's it?
RGB.
Why not try to leverage exposure? Because that's what pieces of shit do in the music business, and I'm not going to do that. You want me to just cross out this bill and write, like, instead of 38,000, like, I'll add to the bill minus 25,000 exposure fee?
350.
Oh, man. All right, that's about the end of this stream. Thank you very much. I look forward to your thoughts in the comments down below. We may have interest in hiring an architect or anybody who has any advice on how to navigate this in New York City, how to bargain, how to find an architect or a general contractor that would properly fit what we're looking to do. Again, we're looking to do things properly, not so properly that, as John Grossbard says, you couldn't afford it, but also not crappy at the same time. We're looking to do this right, but not... I want to do it right, but not like $500,000 for a wall, floor, and electrical. Right, but that's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something.